Hello there everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of my tutorial series for Dyson Sphere program. Today we will go and expand our base into mass production. We will start with mass producing the basic materials we require, mass produce some science, and then from that point on mass produce the tools of our expansion. These are the next 3 milestones up ahead on our path. What I did in between the episodes, it was not much. I was merely building a couple of wind turbines, and I was plugging them in so we have a bit more power available. We got here now a little bit of a small-time backbone that we can always fall back to whenever we need, but this is seriously not where we want to go next. When I press M, I get the entire planet's overview. For one, this place is very close to the southern pole of a planet. Generally, the best spots to build your factory at are the center area of a planet, mostly far away from the polar caps, because the polar caps make your building go jittery and it all makes things a little bit more complicated. Due to that, we will use this, what we got here, as our backbone for the things to come. I've already looked around a bit and I noticed that there is a really nice spot around here where we can find everything we require for our baseline expansion. We'll use a couple of Tesla towers to get ourselves the power transmitted over there. This area here is just what we need for our future expansion. Don't worry about the area at the entrance. We will use all the things we got there at a later stage. It's not a biggie. We will make good use of the power that we got here, and I will probably go back and forth once or twice here to pick up a couple of conveyor belts. But for starters, here we got 2 veins of iron, or 2 patches of iron, stone, copper, and everything we require. So we're going to get started with constructing the mining machines that I forgot somehow. And as you see there is always a constant need of iron plates, as we are here again out of iron plates. So we're going to get started with the mass production of exactly these. So I'm trying to grab as many nodes as possible. 8 are just perfect. And we're building 2 mining machines. Technically, we could now plug in even more mining machines, but practically we are working on a very tight budget energy-wise, therefore we're not going to go too crazy. One of these mining machines is meant to provide the metal plates, or the iron plates, and the other machine is meant to provide the magnets. We are going to grab a little bit of that iron ore and just keep producing stuff in the background. Like I said, or maybe didn't, you should always try to handcraft something early on. So we're connecting now the mining machines with belts, and here we're going to go like this. I will expand that way. I plan to transport my stuff more or less into that direction because I think this patch of land here is just what we need for our starting industry. So what I'm doing here is I set up a little bit of a lane, and we are going to slap like 3 arc smelters in a row here, right there, and we are going to configure them to produce iron ingots. So iron ingots are a very simple recipe. We take 1 piece of iron and we transform it into an ingot over the time of 1 second. When we check out that machine here, it produces 4 units of iron per second. It's very simple. Every vein, without any modifiers, produces half a unit of ore per second. So here we have 4 veins per second. So technically we could even host 4 of these bad boys, but we don't need to. Like I said, we work on an energy budget here. So we're going to put now belts right next to these guys and pipe it out like that. And so now come the sorters. We pick it up here and we extract it there. And just like that, we have a complete production line for iron plates. And now the next thing you do, you hover over your arc smelter, hold down left shift, left click, and now we can copy exactly this configuration on the neighboring smelters, and we even copy the inserters slash sorters. This only works if the belts are pre-installed. So, for example, if there would have been this belt not present, the second sorter wouldn't have been built automatically. It's just as a side note. Now, we got now all we need. This is automatic production of iron ingots, and we are going to go and produce the same thing for magnets over here. I'm going to go here as well for a total of 3 of these guys, because at the end of the day, we don't need terribly many of these resources right now. We will totally try to make the best out of these patches later, but currently, like I said before, it is often wise to limit your production because you don't want to overstress your power grid. Here we have now a situation where we are using enough of this to get our baseline industries going. And what I always like to say is, try to build your arrays like these in a manner that you can always expand on them. So for example, I can now always slap in a couple of extra smelters down here or here, so it will be never a problem to expand on this. And this is very easy to prepare if you pay attention to it, and it's very easy to lock yourself down if you don't pay attention to it. So it's a pretty useful thing to know. The next thing we require is copper veins, and like you already might have noticed, we are pretty much doing the same here, and I'm trying to go pixel perfect for that last node, but sometimes it just doesn't work. You see here, that last node, sometimes you can catch them, sometimes you don't. Here, point. It ain't that necessary to go fiddly like I do here, but it is a private pastime sport. So here we do the same thing, arrange these guys like this, always with the option to expand that deeper into this direction. Later we can cover all of these wet patches with foundation, landfill, if you come from Factorial. So you don't need to worry about that at all. We're going to string some belts over here. And you might already notice how handy it is that we have prepared all those belts before, because there's just so many of them that we need. By the way, we should really produce ourselves some sorters, because these guys are really needed a lot as well. You can always go back to your starting base, of course, and set up a similar thing like I did here for the conveyor belts for sorters, whatever pleases you. But don't go too wild here, because the step after setting up the science will be to set up a area where we can pick up the resources, often commonly referred to as a mall. Now, we are being attacked by the dark fog. This is pretty harmless at the beginning. You just click over here and you get a marker from, they're coming from the other side of the planet. So when we press M, you can rotate around, and there you see the Dark Fog base. They've sent a couple of their fighters to your base, but luckily your Icarus is armed with pretty nice weapons himself, so most likely you will be doing like I'm doing it here. You will be just walking towards them and laser them away, or we're just going to keep working until they are here. The very first waves of these guys are entirely harmless, as long as you have power in your mech. That's pretty much it. You don't need to worry more about that. Just need to walk close to them. Here they come. And your mech automatically zaps them down. There we go. So let's see. I don't know where the last of them was going. It's pretty annoying that there's quite often a third one going randomly somewhere. But as you see here, there's not that terribly much pressure behind that. Just a little bit nervous that they want to attack my other part of the base, but we'll get notified about that. So where was I? Yeah, we have now all the necessary materials together that we need to get working. So I'm stringing up copper, iron, and magnets together. And we're going to pick up the magnets now. And here we have to do a little bit of magic. So I'm going to press the upwards arrow for upper level, and we pipe that over here. Left click, go for downwards arrow again, and we string it up like that. Boom, just like that. And so the meters are slowly decreasing. There we go. For starters, the dark fog is not really any big thing when we start out, at least. Oh, I think I can see the fighter finally on the horizon. The biggest problem that I've seen so far is that they love to split up and do this. Go for a separate part of your base if you're not watching. But as you see here, the wrench icon would have shown me the way either way, so it's okay. Let's taser that fella away. Get off my base, get off my lawn, and we're going to pick up some fuel while we're here. There we go. So the dark fog does evolve, though. It gained now 20 XP. It grinded towards its first level up, and it will come back stronger. The next attack will be more fighters, and the whole threat generation is simply your power consumption. So you consume power, they grow angry, and they'll attack you. We will destroy the base later down the road, of course, but for now, Icarus is all you need to defend yourself against these guys without needing to worry about that too much. Now, we want to mass produce electromagnetic matrices. This is the very first project that we're going to go after, and we're going to produce ourselves a couple of labs because we are going to need them. So, here it is a very, very simple thing. We just need the magnets and the circuit boards, and then we can produce the cubes. End of the story. We don't have many intricate difficulties here or whatever, so we're just going to build ourselves two assemblers and then the labs. It always goes like that in the early phase of the game. You can easily set up yourself some assemblers for gear wheels or circuit boards or something like that. It's also a pretty nice way to speed up your early game, but you don't really need to. So we're going to do this like that. We have our first assembler together. That's all I need for now. The first assembler goes this way. The second assembler, well, lack of item. So we're producing magnetic coils here. So we're going to go for this, and we're putting up the input there. We need copper plates here as well. Boom. And that's that. As a matter of fact, it's not that simple if you want to have the maximum output of these machines, but right now, in this episode, I don't want to talk too much about ratios or tweaking or these things. In case you are wondering, this comes a couple of episodes ahead. Just don't want to mess up the first episodes with too much complexity. Now, we have a mass production of the magnetic coils, and we continue with the next piece of mass production, and that'll be the circuit boards. So, iron plates, copper plates, pretty simple. Here we can already notice, though, that the iron plate intake is a very long path, so it only takes 0.5 units per trip. When you go check out this, is 0.75 units per trip. And if we go like that, so this facility does eat up 2 units of iron per second. So just as something to note, this is not fulfilling the needs of this machine entirely, but it ain't that important early on. We just want to get that stuff on the belt. We can optimize later. And this is something that I really want to stress out. Overthinking is getting you nowhere. You can optimize later. Everything can be picked up for a 100% refund. You don't need to worry about these things. Alright, so we're going to put these items now on the belt, and these are now the stuff that we need to produce our cubes. So we go on over here, and I'd say this is going to be the cube production station. And as a funny caveat, these things can be stacked on top of each other. Oh, I just noticed that this is too narrow here, so we probably need to put them down here. So we will feed in materials like that It wasn't too narrow. Well, my bad. And we'll tell this facility to produce electromagnetic matrices. But tell you what... No. I don't like what I did there. So we're going to do it like this. Sorry. Just got caught by my own words. So we're doing it like this. This is basically working like an assembler. It picks up the materials it needs and cranks out blue cubes afterwards. End of the story. We will put the build for the blue cubes into this direction. And now it can output this way. We can now put down a second tower of this size on the opposite side. And we will, but not yet, because I don't have the necessary output. And yet again, it is the same sentiment. We are working on a budget power-wise. So we're going to put up these labs over here. Not the ideal spot, but they'll do the trick. Select the icon here to put them on research. Now, all that we need to do is to make sure that these shiny blue cubes get inserted over here. And then science can be initiated. Alright, so that's that. It's simple like this. Alrighty, so when we go on over here now, we have now a magnitude of different technologies at our disposal. We can now go for all things that do cost us blue cubes, and there are quite a lot. One of the very first things that I want to introduce is the combustible unit. It is a fuel. Basically, it allows you to transform coal into combustible units, which are a real powerful fuel for the early game, and they are the first thing that we want to go for. So as you can see here now, we're now mass producing this stuff, and we're researching. As you can also see here, we're already on pretty much the maximum capacity of our power though, which kind of sucks. That's why we are going to go and expand our base now. So, the first step that I want to do is I want to set up a little assembler. We don't have that yet. We got stone veins here. Perfect. So we're going to put down an assembling machine here. And this one will produce magnetic coils for us. So here, the same thing. I'm going to make it like this because this machine does require a bit more magnets than the other stuff. And we need to put a power here. Oh yeah. And here, as you see already, we see a condition of lack here, and that's not cool. There we go. And now we're going to put that stuff on the belt here. All right, we're going to go with the iron this way. And we're now going to go around the curve here because we've got to. And one last thing to hold up here will be this. My kittens are playing with a Lego of my son in the room where I work. That's an unholy combination. Now, so we have a lot of materials on the belt now. Another thing that we don't have, though, is stone. So let's fix that up real quick. Stone can be manufactured into different materials. And that's bricks and glass. So we're going to get started today with just the bricks. Let's see, how many can we catch? Yeah, let's set an There we go. So with that, we're going to do just the same as we did before with the metals. We're going to put them up to a couple of smelters. And for starters, 2 smelters for bricks are really pretty much all you need. Oh, sorry, I did a mistake here. We won't be... You can end the magnets at that point, because we won't be needing these where we go next. So, let's do this real quick. Do another belt here. And we left shift, left click there, and as you notice, this is done quite quickly, quite nicely, and we have another important building block for our industries. So the next thing that I need to do here is I want to set in a assembler here. But that is actually only for measures. Here we go again, up key and down key. So we do build a little bit of a bridge here. And then we're going to pipe that across here. Pipe that across there. Then up key and down key, you already know that drill. There are several ways how we can do this, by the way, but I'm introducing one of the ways that you can do there. So let's recheck another time. Yep, the assemblers are fitting in there. Let's check. Can we pick up stuff from the belts? Yes, we can. Beautiful. So what I did here now is we got ourselves our first street where we can produce stuff. We're going to go now for another thing that we'll require, and those are circuit boards. So we do this as follows. We do circuit boards here. So here goes a similar situation as before. We use those, and now we're going to go and output on whatever venue we want to. For us, we can make it like this even, because magnets are not going to be needed anymore where I will put these lines in the future, so that's pretty okay. And now we can output the circuit boards here. And we're going to put up a last assembler here, who's going to provide the gear wheels for us. It's a little bit ill-optimized that we got the iron plates so far away from this, but it's not that much of a deal. So we're going to go and output these bad boys here. Again, I'm going to put them upstairs a bit to go above that. So I press the up key again and create a couple more of these. And we are soon leaving the area where we are handcrafting all that stuff. All right. So I'm picking up some of the iron ingots from the conveyor belt. You can just left click it and pick up things from there as well. And we do require another power tower. There we go. So now I hold down left shift and connect to that thing. And if you just click there, you notice that you are not on the same height level. So you need to click up again to keep the same height level going. And now we go on over here. Go downstairs again with it. And connect it up to the entirety here. So this is, by the way, a pretty compact setup here. Here we are blocking ourselves from further expansion, but here I don't mind it too much because it's very easy to set up my smelters somewhere else. We don't need to worry too much about that at this point. So now we got gear wheels, iron plates, electromagnetic thingamabobs, copper plates, stone bricks, and as the last component that we're still missing right now, electronic circuits, which I will be whipping up in a hot second. pretty much close to the end of the first episode here. So these bad boys will now be following us up here as well. And now we have a road where we can build stuff. So let's see. Just to give you already a little bit of a preview of what we're going to do next episode. Also, since we got the production now, we should totally tech out new things. The upgraded logistics system is among the next really juicy technologies that I want to have, because this gives us access to fast sorters. But these fast sorters also require electromagnetic drives, aka electric motors. So these two technologies are closely woven together and they won't work without each other. Now then, so this little array here gives you pretty much all that you need for the early game. We could set up a second assembling machine here at that point to create more electromagnetic coils if we need to. We can easily set up another fabricator to provide more gear wheels, more electronic circuits or whatnot. It will be becoming less and less orderly, but it will retain its operation. So I'll be ending for today here because I feel like we pretty much achieved a ton today. We are going to continue in the next episode, setting up the expansionary mall, because we got pretty much everything prepared up here except for a couple of little things, which we will be covering in the upcoming episode. One last thing that I want to introduce to you, because it kind of like fell off the table here. We have researched the combustible units, so do yourself a little bit of a favor. Just slap down a mining machine somewhere, connected up with some power, and create yourself some of that sweet combustible units. They're just that good. They are made in assemblers. That's pretty anti-intuitive, because before that we were working completely with other ways, but, well, you get me here. So, like that. Just like this. Needs another storage, which I cannot provide because I lack iron, whatever. So these combustible units should be making up your fuel from this point on, as there is almost nothing that is as good as these, as they give not only a baseline energy of 9.7 megajoule, they are also providing 80% more if they are put into your fuel chamber. Therefore, they're really good. The only thing I'm missing here is a little bit of iron for the storage unit, but I'll fix that up in no time. So, my good friends, we now know how to do science, at least the baseline science, fully automated. We are also producing fully automated or base resources, and a couple of intermediate resources already as well. This intermediate resource madness will be accompanying us for a long time. Basically, I gotta say, we just got started. But it's a lot of fun along the road, and in the next episode we're going to start working a lot with assemblers and the like, and I'm looking very much forward to that. I thank you sincerely for being around. Drop me your comments down below. I'm always eager to hear back from you, as you all know. And as usual, leave a thumbs up below that video. It's very helpful. And consider subscribing if you enjoyed this. Also, check out the description box. You'll find the link to the playlist of this entire playthrough thing here, and you can just binge watch all the stuff that I did. And last but not least, there's Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee, and I'd be very delighted if you'd give them a look, as these are the very best ways to support the channel. And I want to thank everybody who does, and I want to especially thank everybody who's watching this episode right now, because without you, this series would be absolutely without any value. So, thanks for being around. See you all next time. I'll be uninstalling this preliminary base camp because we are going to do much better from here on, and I'm looking forward to the next episode with you, my friends. See you there, and have a good time.